Welcome to A Voice for MG, a podcast which features the voices of individuals sharing about life with myasthenia gravis. I'm Alison Dye, your host for today's episode. We will be talking with Diana Sufragiu and Inge today, who are both joining us from different places. So actually, to get started, would you like to say what your name is, where you are located, and share a little bit about yourself?
Oh, my name is Diana Sufragiu. Thank you, Alison, for inviting me in this podcast. I'm very happy to be here and happy to share my experience. I'm Romanian from origin, but I live in Italy since 2002, and I'm a patient living with myasthenia since 2012. So it's 13 years now that I'm living with this disease. As a profession, I'm a research nurse, and I'm a freelance in this moment, a freelance research nurse, working and doing home visits to the patients. And also I'm working with a Danish company in recruiting patients for clinical trials. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of passions, and I'm also a student because I'm enrolled in a master science. So I'm trying to do a lot of things. I'm happy to be here and to share my experience. And I'm also part of the Italian Myasthenia Association and part of the European Myasthenia Association, in which I am a part also of the scientific working group. Thank you a lot.
Wonderful, wonderful. Inge?
Hi, my name is Inge Bjerregaard, and thank you for inviting me. I'm a physiotherapist, and I'm working in the National Rehabilitation Center for Neuromuscular Diseases in Denmark, in the eastern part. And I've been lucky meeting a lot of people with Myasthenia Gravis, and I got very curious about this disease because it's so complicated, you can say, and it's very interesting as a professional. And in our center, we do not diagnose, and we don't prescribe medicine, but we do physical examinations and provide advices and guidelines to the patients, to the families, and to professionals working in the communities. And in addition, we offer different kinds of courses for the patients, and work together with the patient organization, Muskelsvindfonden, which is very good. Liselotte, who is working as a member in the international organization, has been very inspiring for me. So thanks to her also.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm so eager to learn more from both of you. So thank you for the introductions. Going back to Diana, how long have you been diagnosed with MG? What does your work look like day to day? And how has having MG impacted your work in research?
I must say it impacted a lot. I have been diagnosed in 2012 when I was a nurse. As I graduated in 2009, I was still a young nurse, so I didn't have much experience. In fact, I didn't even hear about myasthenia. I didn't know this disease, this condition. But I was diagnosed in 2012, and I was still doing the night shifts and all the shifts that a nurse usually does. And when I was diagnosed, I had about 2 or 3 years that were quite tough for me because I couldn't go to work. I had sick leave for all this time, and I couldn't go to work. I didn't even know how would be my life after this disease, and I was also a bit scared. A lot scared that I also have 3 children, and at that time they were little, and I was alone by raising them. So I was afraid. I didn't know how I will handle this, and how I will handle the condition, and if I will be well again. I was lucky. I'm well. I managed to adapt to this disease and to cope with the condition. And I also think I was lucky because I found some ways to also to follow my passion, that was research. At that time, I was trained as a research nurse, but I wasn't working as a research nurse. And when I decided to go back to work, because I was quite well after the sick leave, my manager asked me if I'm willing to go and work as a research nurse because I couldn't do night shifts anymore. So I said, yes, I'm trained to do a research nurse. So I think it's a good moment. So if it weren't for myasthenia, I think they wouldn't propose me that place because because I think the most important thing was that I couldn't do the night shifts anymore. So yeah, so I think myasthenia changed my life because there I started to work as a research nurse. But as I was at the beginning, and as myasthenia wasn't still very stable, I had half times because tough times. Sorry, I had tough times because anyway, only working during the day, but wasn't very stable. I still had all the symptoms, and I still had fluctuations, very important fluctuations. And I didn't know how to organize my days and to keep moving forward. I didn't know anything, but anyway, I think I was lucky because in this way I started to work as a research nurse. I learned about myasthenia that I didn't know anything about myasthenia. I learned about myasthenia, and after that, for some years, myasthenia was still with ups and downs, and after that, I had I think 7 beautiful years in remission. I didn't have symptoms, and I was quite well. So that was a moment in my profession that I tried to do some more and studies, and decided also to work as a freelance. So in this moment, I'm a freelance. I work as a freelance as a research nurse, and I do home visits for patients that mostly have rare diseases. And I also collaborate with a Danish company that is a Danish that is a company for recruiting patients in clinical trials. So in this moment, I have a lot of free time because I'm a freelancer, and so I can organize my days. I have quite a lot of free time. Myasthenia came back in the meantime into 2022, so I had to handle and manage again the symptoms and the unpredictability of the disease. And this was another tough point for me because I was already freelance when myasthenia came back, so I don't have sick leaves, I don't have holidays that are paid. So I said, well, in this moment, what can I do now? So I'm lucky that I had a great team. My doctor is a great doctor, so she managed well all my symptoms and with treatment. And I think I'm happy and lucky because in this moment my myasthenia is quite stable. I don't have a lot of symptoms. I almost don't have any symptom, and I can manage my days. I can manage my work as a freelance. But myasthenia is always in my mind and always present here in everything I do because I kind of keep it in mind always in my plans and in everything I do.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think it's very interesting to hear how myasthenia has impacted your work, and not only when you were working as a research nurse, but also freelancing. So no matter the job, it's still such a big part of your life, and it has an impact on whatever work you're doing. So thank you for sharing that. And speaking of work, Inge, how long have you been working as a therapist? What does your work look like day to day? And I know before you mentioned assessments and courses. What do these typically cover?
Well, I've been a physiotherapist for very, very many years. For the last 10 years, I've been working in the rehabilitation center. And here I met a lot of people with MG, and I've been interested in understanding the complexity of the disease. Like Diana says, she told about how it goes ups and downs and the fluctuation of the disease. So that's very interesting as a physio. But in our rehabilitation center, we are a multidisciplinary team, and that's very good. We have occupational therapists, we have doctors, psychologists, social worker, and physiotherapists, and it makes it possible to meet the patients with a broad approach, and that's what is needed, I think. So. So we are going out. Sometimes we meet people in our rehabilitation center, and sometimes we go out visiting people in the homes, and that is very good because we see how they cope with everyday life, um, all the activities they must do at home, and having a discussion with them how to save energy, and I do the examination of the patients, but that's not enough to look at muscle strength or endurance and things like that because it's so fluctuating. So I see how is it today, it might be different the next day. So what we also talk about exercising is how should I exercise? Is it safe? How do I find the energy when it's hard to cope with work or everyday life? And what should I be afraid of? What should I be afraid of anything? And what should I tell my physio? So we often discuss many subjects when we are talking to the patients, and it could be energy saving. It's often our occupational therapists talk about dividing different tasks into small pieces. It could be helping aids, and our psychologist talks to them about how to manage about anxiety, maybe depression that we know many people suffers from, and how do they exercise? That's what I know something about. Strategies is maybe being at home or at an education, and that's what Diana's all about. So you need to do some changes sometimes, and our social worker knows about what about literacy. How could you maybe get some help when being a job? So that's some of the subjects we talk about when being out. And we do some courses sometimes, and getting there to see other people with the same disease is a very great help with coping with the disease. And we have got the patients organization Muskelsvindfonden in Denmark, who sort of social activities, and it's very good to meet other people with the same disease. So I think that's my job, and I'm talking to many other physios who calls me and ask, how do we do this? Because they don't see very many people with MG, so it's new for them very often.
No, that's so interesting. I love the multidisciplinary approach that you're describing, because managing an illness, especially a rare one, it is multifaceted, right? There's the mental, there's the physical. And I also love how adaptive your approach to physical therapy sounds, because you're considering all the very complex elements of someone's life, from work to everyday activities and just different energy levels. And I think that's such an important thing for a physio to have, is this understanding that working with someone with MG requires specific and unique care. So I think that's very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. The challenges that people with MG face are something that happen every day, as you said as well. So talking about that, Diana, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face every day with regards to myasthenia gravis?
Well, now that I'm well and my myasthenia is stable, my challenges aren't regarding small things that I can do or can't do. This was in the past when my myasthenia was unstable and I wasn't very well, and the challenges were about quite everything, about moving, about doing everything in the house, and eating and swallowing, and it was about everything. But now the challenges are different. The challenges are more, I must say, also are also mental, because I have to face uncertainty, because I don't know how it will be. I hope it will always be as it is now, but I don't know. It already happened that it came back, so I can expect that anytime myasthenia can come back. So the uncertainty, this is I think is a mental challenge for me, because I have to think about the work, about anyway, about my children, and about relations, and about everything, and about also my mobility. Why not? Because if I won't be able to do the stairs or things like that, how will it be? But uncertainty, I think, is the first. I consider the first thing for me in this moment. Other thing also related to uncertainty is the unpredictability of the disease, because it might change from day to day, and also it might change, my condition might change from day to day, but also from during the day. I might feel without energy, without muscle strength, maybe in the afternoon, and I have to take a break because I can't do anything. I have to lay down and stay for a while and take a short break or a long break, or I might have to say, I'm sorry, I am not able to work in this afternoon. I will stay here and try to relax and recover from this. So unpredictability, I don't know what's behind the corner. So also during the day. So in the morning, I might feel very well. Usually I feel very well, but there are also mornings that I am not very well, because it's not about having the typical symptoms. It's more about having how to say it. It's fatigue. I can call it fatigue because also Inge, I think she's a health professional, so she understands that it's fatigue, and this fatigue can also influence my day-by-day life. And also the fluctuations, because unpredictability is related to fluctuations, as maybe after an afternoon or a day of having meetings online or having or working at a desk, I might have these muscles that I feel weak and painful. So neck and shoulders and also my back, upper back also can be painful and can be also weak. So yeah, it's I must say that these kind of fluctuations that are my challenges, because I don't know how it will be the day and don't know how it will be tomorrow. And also facing the daily activities, because in some cases I'm not able to do my household chores, and I can't do them. And I said I'll do them tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow is a good day. I don't do them tomorrow, so I need help from someone. In general, I asked for help to my son that is living with me, so he's doing the chores and also the shopping. The shopping is heavy. It might not seem so. Someone does shopping for fun. I don't do shopping for fun because it's very heavy. I have to go around the aisles, and also then the final. I must say the final. So the final straw, the last straw, is to bring everything upstairs and bring everything home. So yeah, I think I consider it a very, very big challenge. So in this period, even if I'm well, but with these fluctuations, I asked my son. In fact, I don't remember when I last time did my shopping and bring everything up. So it's my son that carries on this task, with also the household chores that is doing him. Yeah, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I can recognize all you said, Diana. That's what I hear from our patients, and many people are struggling a lot to keep on by the job, being a good parent, following all the advices that we professionals suggest. It can be a lot, and it's hard due to fatigue and muscle weakness. And my experience is that people can feel like quite lonely because it's hard to talk to both your employer or to your family or to friends. It's hard to understand. So a good deal of loneliness. And somebody is feeling embarrassed when going out, maybe having a dinner with friends, because it can be hard chewing and swallowing the food, and it's not nice sitting having problems eating and concentrating about conversation as well. As you said, Diana, climbing stairs, raising up from a chair or toilet or whatever, it's hard work. And somebody told me they have been looking at when taking the elevator instead of climbing the stairs, and you can't see what's going on inside your body. You can't see the fatigue. You can't see people feeling exhausted. So also about having a low mimic in your face, you might look angry even though you're happy. And what I find about exercising is that people feeling quite insecure because do they train too hard? Do they get exhausted, or do they not do enough to find the right balance? Is very hard. So people having different experiences with exercising. Someone who has not been used to exercising and it's hard to start up. Others who are used to doing a lot maybe start too hard and maybe not get crisis, but feel exhausted afterwards. So it's always about finding a balance. So yeah, that's some of the difficulties I see, the challenges by having a disease.
Yes, I agree with you, Inge. You know, it happened once in 2022 when myasthenia came back, that I had diplopia. I had a double vision, and in the morning when actually the agreements with my daughter were actually long time before. So we agreed that I will drive to her boyfriend, that he had a concert. He was a musician, so she needed to be driven there. So in the middle of the way, or the trip, we had to stop because I couldn't go ahead. I started to see double, and you can imagine her disappointment and mine too, but we had to stop. So this is one. And also about the physical activity, I agree with you. This one was one of the things that I consider as a lose for me, as I lost this, because I love to do sports, a lot of sports. I love swimming. I played badminton. I also like to run and do everything that means moving. And with this disease, it was one of the things that I considered it that I lost, because anyway, yes, it's I can have good times. I can have good times when I can move, but it's starting all over again all the times. And it's losing everything that I did before, like maybe training for badminton. You lose technique, you lose movements, and you lose agility and everything. So it's taking it all over again. It's starting all over again all the times. Also swimming. Maybe I can do how many meters swimming when I'm trained, and after that I have to start all over again. This is very, very, very heavy for me to tolerate.
Yes, I've been talking to a lady doing a lot of running, but she has to organize her day in a special way. She has to maybe meet a bit later, or some hours later job, because it suits her better to train in the morning, to exercise in the morning. Or maybe she has the opportunity to work from home. But if you're a nurse like you were, with working at night, it's not possible.
And it's not ever, it's not possible. And after that, I often was afraid of doing it, because if I do it in the morning, then it conditions all my days, all my day. Maybe if I'm too tired after that, and what after that, if I have to work, I can work because I'm too tired from exercising. So yeah, it's I think anyone has the own way to balance exercise and energies and muscles, weakness and strength.
Yes, and what you see, I sometimes have been examined people when they went to our place, and talking to them afterwards, they felt awful. Maybe the same day, maybe the next day. So you can't always see how good muscle function they have, because the symptoms comes later.
Yeah, yes,
And
yes.
and all what you need to do about brushing your teeth, washing your hair, it all requires a lot of effort. Normal things that you don't think about in normal living.
Right. Yes, yes. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right.
Yes, this is so helpful, I think, for people who are living with MGA to realize they're not the only ones thinking like, oh, this is hard. And it's also important for those who don't have MG, I think, to be aware of this, because as you've both said, it's invisible. It's not everyone can see why you're taking the elevator instead of doing the stairs. Not everyone can see that planning your day is so difficult because you don't know how you're going to feel moment to moment. So I think both of you have shared some very important key points here for what it's like to live with MG. Um, what would you both say, one from the patient perspective and one from the therapist perspective, what do you feel personally is the most important thing about having a multidisciplinary team for managing MG?
Well, I think having someone that can gives you a lot of perspectives. So the doctor, the physician can give his perspective, and the other kind of support, because there's not only the physical support. I need therapy, I need the medicine, I need to control symptoms and everything. It's not only this, it's also dealing with as I said before, uncertainty, anxiety, depression and fear, and and also have to learn how to cope with it. So I think a psychologist is a great it's a great help. Also the physiotherapist that can help you learn and understand how to move, and how to spare the energies, and how to what the strategies can be taken in order to control muscles and keep them tonic anyway. So all professional, I think a multidisciplinary team is essential. I didn't have the luck to have one at the beginning, but I remember that in that time I needed a psychologist. Yeah, really. Actually, I needed it because also because of myasthenia, but for also for other things in my life, because I was a single mom, so facing a heavy disease, so I needed a psychologist was a big support for me, really big support, and also the nurses. I'm a nurse and keep patients because also most of the times patients listen to a nurse more than a doctor, and nurse is the first, I think, the first contact with someone in the healthcare. So in the healthcare system, so I think nurse is also an important professional in the team.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Inge, as you are one of a large multidisciplinary team, correct?
I'm so pleased of having the opportunity to work in an interdisciplinary team because, research shows that being physically active is important. But if you don't have the time, you're struggling to keep your work, you're struggling about looking after your children, you might have a depression or hard to manage everyday life. It's hard to priority to go exercising. So therefore, there might be other things to start with. So you might, like Diana said, talk to a psychologist about managing all the ups and downs and fluctuation, the uncertainty about the future, or you might hear about how can you cope with your work. And there might be other things. Maybe you should talk to our occupational therapist about how to work smarter, not harder. And afterwards, you might be able to do some exercise, or maybe you can just start to do a little and have focus on other subjects to start with.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I like about having the opportunity to say, okay, I'll wait, and it would be good for you to talk to one of my colleagues.
Yeah, no, that's huge because you are the expert in your field and you're able to, point them to what they need, even if you can't provide it. I think that is so important. And I love that you're working together and it's not just you helping the patient, it's a team. And I think that's so important for patients as well, because it can feel very isolating. But if you have all these people on their team supporting them and caring for them, I think that can mean the world. To patients. I say that as a patient myself. So I really appreciate that perspective.
Yes.
My next question is, what are 3 things you would advise someone who was just diagnosed with MG in regards to managing? So I want Diana to answer from a patient's perspective, and then I want Inge's very, therapist, professional perspective.
From my part, I can say that I can advise to have a little patience and first of all, to learn, understand, and respect what the own limits are. Because myasthenia is not the same for all of us. It's different for patient to patient, and each of us has a unique way of living it. So the first thing I must say, to learn what they can do, what one can do, and what one cannot do. Don't rush things, because patience is important, because therapy and drugs and everything needs time to be to have efficacy. So to have a bit of patience, to don't lose hope, because yeah, I think there is a way to be out of all the symptoms and out of all the worst times, and to take it easy, as I said, have a little patience, and also search for a very good team, for an experienced team, because this is another thing that I consider important. Unfortunately, time and place that where we live are still important in this. So if they don't have in the nearby a team or a physician or a neurologist or a good doctor and a good team that can carry on this disease and can handle it, I think it's good to search for another one. If they don't have and they don't know, because I don't think information is not for it's not accessible to all, to try to hear an association, a patient association that can give contacts and give advice regarding this. But the place and the time of care, I think, is important, because maybe in a center of excellence they can have protocols, they can have new therapies, they can have also new strategies, and they also have more patients, and with the experience of more patients, they know, and so have more knowledge to share and apply to the patient, to the patients. So experience center is very important. Experience and excellence center is very important. These are my advices to one that has myasthenia. But most important, take it easy and try to learn the limits. Don't do things that they don't feel to do, and take breaks when needed. Don't rush anything. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I think those are all really important things. And Inge, what would you say as a therapist?
Yes, as a start point, I would say listen to your neurologist and follow the advices about medications, because it's so important for starting with a good treatment. On the long run, it's better for the muscle function, even though there are side effects. And I know very many people don't like taking too much medicine, but it's very important to start with it, not destroying the muscle fibers. So that's the first point. And the next thing is to avoid a sedentary lifestyle. I agree about taking it easy, but maybe do just a little getting up, going and get your cup of coffee, maybe going out with your dog. Just do a little. Everything is good for you, just not sitting too much. So maybe you could start with stretching. Maybe you could start working with posture and something that is not so hard training. Maybe breathing exercises. It could be yoga, Pilates, things like that. Mindfulness, maybe, to get a good feeling in your body, and do it together with people you like, and do it places you love. Maybe you like going to the beach, going in the wood, and get those experiences as a start. And then you might be able to do some hard exercising later on.
I love that, because it makes it very doable. It makes it very simple, right? Like, consider like going to make yourself a coffee part of your movement, right? Like that. I think that's very empowering, because it shows just how little you can start with, and then, as you're saying, like, you can build up as you go. And I think that's so encouraging, because I think it can be very overwhelming when you're just navigating a new diagnosis and you're probably feeling very poorly physically. Just to feel good about any little movement you can make, whether it's a stretch, sitting in a chair, or just moving into your kitchen to make a cup of tea or coffee. Like, I love that so much. So thank you so much, Inge, for
Yeah,
sharing.
you shouldn't be too hard with yourself. Maybe if you've been struggling having a bath in the morning and getting your kids to school, or whatever you're going to do during the day. So just a little is good to start with.
Absolutely. No, I find that so encouraging. So my next question is for both of you once again. It's, what do you wish more people understood about being diagnosed with MG?
I wish a world without MG, but I don't think it's possible. So I really wish that can be accessibility to therapies for all. Accessibility, information, accessibility. First step of accessibility is information. So accessibility, yes, I said all accessibility, and the right to be treated also.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's wonderful. I could not agree more. And Inge, as a therapist, what do you wish more people understood about a diagnosis like MG?
I think people around should be more acceptable. I mean, MG is to a certain extent an invisible disease. You can't see if people are fatigued or have muscle weakness, or they have the side effects from treatment or comorbidities. You can't see that. So that would be nice if people know about. And medicine doesn't cure the disease. Some people think, but you get medicine, so you must be okay. You must be doing well now. It might not be like that. So you might expect some limitations. It should be a good reason for taking the elevator. Don't look bad when people are doing that. And about the mimic muscles that could be affected. So it's good if people know that, at least people around you, so they can see you are not unsatisfied. It's just a part of your disease. Yes, and we have in Denmark special centers for treating MG, and I think that's a very good idea, because they get the best treatment that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I think that's a good wish, because a lot of people just judge from what they see on the outside. And with something like MG, it is invisible, right?
Yeah. And maybe I think if you have MG, you have to accept some kind of fatigue and feeling exhausted, and you have to do maybe a little of exercising, even though you are tired, because it helps you in the long run.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say if everyday life is hard to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you both sharing from different perspectives today on what it is like to manage MG. It means so much to me to hear your experiences, and I know it will mean a lot to other patients or people affected by MG in some way or another. To conclude, my question is, who and what are you thankful for?
I don't know if I can say myasthenia because it changed my life, but I'm grateful to my second neurologist, because the first one diagnosed it, and the second one cured or cared.
Provided your
Both of them.
care. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm grateful to her because she handled it very, very well. That's Dr. Fazio. If she will have the chance to see this video. So I'm grateful to her because she pushed a lot. She had advocated for me when I wasn't well. I needed to do thymectomy. So she pushed a lot regarding thymectomy and contacts, and she was available when I needed an urgent visit or something like that, treatment. And so I'm grateful to her. I'm grateful to the associations. I'm and the EuMGA, because they're really giving me a lot of opportunities to know a lot of people, and also to share my experience through what we're doing, beautiful video podcast. So I'm grateful to EuMGA and the Italian Association. And I'm grateful to all the people that I have around that have patience with me. Sometimes, as Inge said before, sometimes I look hungry, and it happened that they asked, "Are you hungry? Or why are you hungry?" I'm not hungry. It's my disease. So I'm grateful to them, and to my son that helps me every time I need. Yes.
Wonderful. And you, Inge?
Yeah, I'm very grateful for you inviting me to talk today, and for my team, interdisciplinary team. We couldn't do a good job alone, and for the opportunity to participate on the MG conferences, where I meet both patients with MG and researchers, and feel the enthusiasm, be a part of it, and everybody's willing to share. I talked to a physiotherapist at the last conference, and she was very excited about we were two physiotherapists, and also professors, doctors, whoever you talk to, they are so open and kind and share all their knowledge, and that's really great.
Thank you. I want to thank both of you for joining us on the EuMGA podcast today. It meant so much to me to hear your experiences and stories. So thank you. Thank you for listening to A Voice for MG, a podcast brought to you by EuMGA, the European Myasthenia Gravis Association. To learn more about the organization and this podcast, and to see how you can support, please visit eumga.eu today. A huge thank you to all of our supporters, members, collaborators, sponsors, and a heartfelt thank you to Diana and Inge for lending their voices to today's episode.